どうも皆さんこんばんちは、こうたろうです。時刻は11時、25分前ですね。やっていきたいと思います。はザ・スタンリー・パラボル続きをやっていきます。前回マリエラという女性がどうなるこうたらって話になって終わりました。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
こっちのあ、いける。あ、お
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
面白いと思いますよ。お、This gag? Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
あ、終わった。パチパチパチパチパチ。あ、終わってない。あ、俺なんか四角い部屋みたいなやつに入ってるわ。進めなくなるわ。なんかあるんだ。画面が白い。これバグってるわけじゃなくて普通に画面が白いだけですからね。皆さんね。これ何これまたリスタートしろ的なそういう感じ？じゃああそこで俺のギャグ面白いかって言われた時にいいえってやればよかったの？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Are you sick of this gag? このギャグは病んでると思いますか？いや。
Ah, Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Cheers. はい、リスタートします。なんだこれ、リスタートゲーか。そうだったのか。
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were.
でもセーバーさ
Just
れ
a
る。
matter of time.
はい、そうっすね。で、じゃあ次はちゃんと社長室に行って、
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
で、2択なんだよね。
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human.
じゃあとりあえ
But
ず
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
まっすぐ行くと会
And
議
so
室
he
だから
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
これ下行くとなんだっけ。あ、下行くとダメだ。ノーノーノーノーとかやつだ。こっち行けるな。こっちなんだ。あ、閉まってるわ。ダメだ。で、こっちに行って社長室から下
Yet
に
there
行っ
was
たとこ
not
ろ
a
だね。
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find it. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ボスのオフィスにね。おお、開いた。開くんだ。あ、To be rich is it crime? To commit crimes is it rich? What a lie it would be to have to pick just one. はあ、多分これは作者さんの言葉かなんかだろうな、きっと。こっちはあくあのパンダさんだ。パンダさんチース。あ、エレベーターがある。エレベーターパンポンって言ってるよ。おお、乗ってみよう。おお、あ、なんか新しい土地を開拓してしまったよ。またなんか全然ボタンの部屋行けないよ俺。寄り道ばっかしてるから。あ、次上行ける。 以上？あ、そう。BGM が変わってるだけか。そうか。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
落ち着いたニューエイジミュージックで出てるし。あ、もうそうなるのね、ナレーションが言わないと。すごいよこの動き。うさぎ筋トレ。
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
はい。そして下に行ってまっすぐですね。やっと行けるね。渡しました。いや、ほんとお待たせしましたよ。長らくお待たせしました。ようやくです。ようやくです。はい、お待たせしました。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
おお、マインドコントロールルーム。パチッとな。
The lights rose on an enormous
あ、
room
これっ
packed
て
with
上で見てた、
television
あそこで見てたや
screens.
つじゃないの。
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
おお、あ、こっちか。すげえモニターの数だな、これ。映画でよく見てるあの風景みたいなさ。あ、なんかすごいね。あ、なんかある。こっち。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Nothing. はい。そしてなんかある。人が釣り上がるボタン。こっち。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
すべてを壊すことにしました。はあ、4のボタンがあるな、そこで。これもせんの？あ、青。黄色。なんか赤、青、黄色、あ、水色がある、ここに。そして、あ、ここになんか1と2のボタン。あ、黄色。あ、黄色くないよ。なんで黄色なの？開かない。なんかボタンがそこら中に置いてあって、なんか、あ、紫のボタンまである。そして、あ、なんかそこに5がある。明らかに押しちゃダメなボタンがあるけど、そこに赤い。そこに5番のボタンが。マインドコントロール、アイドル、アウェイティングインプット。って書いてある。あ、なんかここにもある。3、1、2、3、4、5って見つけたけど。なんかあんのかな。そこが入ってきたとこ。なんか か下にもあるな。わあ、すごいすごいすごい。エネルギー貯めてそう。うわあ、俺がサイヤ人に。特に関係ない。これ赤いボタンなんだろう、押してみるか。あ、押せなかったわ。押せなかったわ。押せるかと思ったら。こっちか。あー、すごいでかい画面が出てきたな。さあ。
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
おなんだ
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
すごいすごい
And
すごい
yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley
空が
reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
あ、すごい
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let
あ
go.
ー、すごい
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
すごい
Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
おー、
That
リ
was
ア
all that
ル
he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
あ、すげえすげ
Stanley
え
stepped through the open door.
スタンリーは開いた扉から一歩外へ踏み出しました。
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy. よかったな。ハッピーエンドでローディング入った。はい。行きましょうか。で、次はオンにしてみましょう。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
はいはい。来まして。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
まっすぐ行って。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
高度な技術ができるよ。もう行く場所決まってるからね。で、次は284
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
びっくりだねって、新しい通路、スタンリーは新しい通路を見つけたよ。びっくりだねって、もうむちゃくちゃだね。もうやらかしてるね、それね。さあ、来ました。はい、下に行きまして。次はオンにしてみましょう。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
で、これちょっと待たなきゃいけないのか、ナレーターさんを。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
で、左側にあるボタンを押して、
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
やだね、でも
nothing.
実際こうやって監視されてたらって思うと怖いね。日々の
This
生活
mind
が
control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
さあ、よいしょ、乗って、
No,
上へ参ります。
he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
OK。
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yeah.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
What?
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it on? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
何すればいいの？
This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and nothing. No ending. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
やばいやばい、コントロールがガンガンしてる。ブルブルしてる。今ブルブルしてる。すごいブルブルしてる。今、ブーってなってる。はい、ということで。まあ、そこ超えてみたいけど、いけるのかなってとこだな。ご視聴ありがとうございました。次回もお楽しみに。それじゃあまただ。